Welcome back, guys. This is part 3 of our Android Studio series of to-do list app. If you have not checked the previous videos, part 1, part 2 and the demo video of the app, you can check it from the description, and also I have created a playlist of it. You can save the playlist and check it. So in this video, we are going to set up the fragment and the database for this app. We will use SQLite database to save our data. So in previous video we have created this layout, you can see, and in this video we are going to use this layout in our Java class. So right click on your package name and click on new and create a new package and name this package as model, because we will use this in retrieving data to the RecyclerView. So create a new Java class in model and name it as to do model. Yes, this is good. So now inside this to do model, we will have to create some variables which we will take from users as private string task. This will be retrieved from user, and create a new variable private int id and status. These two variables we will store in our data. The id will be automatically saved and the status we will take from user. By default it will be 0. And now create getter and setter for it. Right click on your screen and go to generate, go to getter and setter and select all and click on OK. So we have made getter and setter. If you don't know how to set this all in RecyclerView, you can check videos for it. So now we will have to create one more package in our main package. So go to package and name it as utils, and inside the util create a new Java class, and name it database helper and click enter. So this is our database helper class. Here we will save all the data like our task, the status of task and id of the task. So extend this class to SQLite database helper. Yes, you will see a default error here because our database helper class contains two inbuilt methods which we will have to override. Here are the methods given. Firstly, we will have to use onCreate method and onUpgrade method. So just press alt and enter and override these methods. You will see the error is still there because we will have to create a constructor matching super. So just click on make constructor, select the first one and click on OK. So here we have a constructor matching parent. So firstly we remove this all nullable tags, remove this. So this is okay. If you don't know how to implement the SQLite database, you can check videos for it. So in this database we will use some data which will be required by us again and again. So let's save them in some variables. So create here variables, right here private static final string database name and name it to do database, and make one more variable private static final int and database version, the version will be 1, and give one more variable private static final string and name it table name is equals to, give the name of table. I am writing here to do table. So this is okay, and close this. Duplicate this by pressing Ctrl and D, and in place of table name give here column 1 and here change this to do table to id. So we can do one more thing, we will add the version manually. So remove this line and below it just duplicate the column 1 and write here column 2 and column 3, and in place of id in column 2 give here task, and in place of column 3 write here status. So now come to your constructor when we return the super, in place of factory we will return null, and in place of version we will return version 1, right here 1, and in place of name we will return here database name which we created the variable above, and just remove this, and only we need only context from where we will call this database. So now let's come to onCreate method. Inside this we will have to create a table. So for this, right here SQL database dot execute SQL. So inside the bracket make two inverted comma and write create table if not exists space, and concatenate it with table name, the variable which we created here, and after that concatenate it double inverted comma, and inside it bracket write here id which is integer type, and write primary key auto increment. This will automatically increase the value of id, we will not take this from user. Write here task which will be of text type, and status which will be of integer type, and close this. Now come to on upgrade. Inside on upgrade right here SQLite database dot execute SQL, and inside this right here drop table if exists, and right here table name concatenate table name. Now after this pass the onCreate method here, onCreate, and pass SQLite database. So our database is ready. So now we will have to perform operation on this database. So let's create a new method here. After this right here public void, and right here insert task. This will be used to insert our task, and we will pass here the model which we created to do model, and we will name it as model here. So firstly create the instance of SQLite database. So right here SQLite database db is equals to this dot get. We can use here writable database because we are writing the data on the database. So we will have to save the data in content values. So right here content values is equals to new content values, and right here content values dot put, and inside this we will have to put the status and the task. So in column 2 we will take the task from model dot get task, and close this, and here we will have to take the status also. So write content values dot put column 3 comma. By default the value of our data will be 0, so we don't need to take this from user. Right here 0, and after this pass this content value in our database. So write db dot insert. Firstly we will have to give the table name. So right here table name which we saved in variable, right here null, and inside this pass the content values, and close this. So this will be used to insert the data. So now after inserting the data we can update it also. So let's make a new function to update the data. Public void update task, and inside this we will take variable like integer id and string task. So inside this function we will have to perform the update on the given id. So copy the above two lines from the above function and paste it here in update function. Now use this content values. So here content values dot put. Here firstly we will have to put the value of column 2, which will be the task, and then we will have to update the value of the task. So right here db dot update and pass here firstly the table name, and after this press comma and content values and press comma again, and we have to pass where clause. So write inside the string id is equals to question mark, is equals to question mark and comma, and create a new string here of array type, and write a curly bracket after this, and inside this pass here string dot value of, right here the value of which you want to change like id, and close this. So this will update the value of the id which we will change. So this function will be used to update the value of the task, but if you want to change the status of the task like it is done or not done, so create a new function here, public void update status. This will change the value of the checkbox either to marked or unmarked. So we will take here the value of int id and also int status. As we took the value of task in above, here we will take the value of status. So paste the same value which we copied from the above, and here pass in content values dot put column 3 comma and pass the value of status, which will be 0 by default as we have passed above. So right here db dot update table name comma and pass the content values here, content values comma, inside the inverted commas right here where clause id is equals to question mark, sorry, in above statement we have right here plus, write it equal to and write comma, create a new string of array type, and inside this write a curly bracket and write string dot value of, and pass here id, close this. So our update status function has been created successfully now. So now create a new function to delete the data. So right here public void delete task, and inside the task we will pass the id int id, and inside this function paste the lines which we have copied. So here we don't need the value of content values, so remove this content value line, and below this write db dot delete, pass the table name here and comma, inside the string write here id is equals to question mark and press the comma, and here pass a new string of array type, and inside the curly braces write string dot value of and pass here id and close this. So our insertion, deletion and update is done. So now only thing which remains is the fetching of the data. So now let's make a new function. As we will fetch data in list, so we will not write the void return type here, we will make the return type of list, and the list will be of type to do model. So write here public and return type will be list of to do model type, to do model. So firstly import the list here, import class, and write the function name here to get all task, and inside the function firstly we will have to create the instance of SQLite database. db is equals to this dot get readable database because we are reading the data right now, and right here cursor because we will need cursor to read the data, cursor is equals to null, and close this. And after this, create a list which will store the data, and we will return this list from this function. So create a list, create list of to do model type, and name it as model list is equals to new, make it a array list type, array list, and close this. And after this, write db dot begin transactions, and after this we will use try and catch method, because it is possible that our function is empty. So right here cursor is equals to db dot query, use query here, inside query pass here table name, comma, and write 6 times null, 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 again null, write again null, this is 5 null and 6th null, and close this. So after this cursor we will have to check if the cursor is empty or not. So after the cursor use an if statement, use here if, write here cursor not equals to null, not equals to null. Inside this if statement write one more if statement as cursor dot move to first, and inside this statement use a do while statement, do, here we will fetch the data, and inside the while we will use the condition till our loop will run, cursor dot move to next, and close this while statement. And inside the do statement right here to do model is equals to new to do model, create the object of to do model. And so now we will have to fetch the data in this model. So right here to do model dot set id, and we will have to set the id here, right here cursor dot get int, and inside the int write the cursor dot get column index, and pass here column 1. This is showing error, we will ignore this error because it is not any legit error. So now duplicate this, and inside this write here column set id to set task, and cursor dot get int, change this get int to get string, and change this column 1 to column 2. So it is done now. And in next line we will have to fetch the status. So right here to do model dot set status, and right here cursor dot get int, and inside this write cursor dot get column index, and pass here column 3. And after this in next line write model list dot add, and pass this to do model list, to do model, and close this. So after this we will have to execute the finally block, right here finally, and inside finally write here db dot end transaction and transactions, and also close the cursor dot close. So this is all, and now we will have to return the list. So return model list. So that's it. This will give us the data which is stored in our database. So now close this class and go to main activity.java. Inside this we will have to initialize the variables here. So firstly go to main activity XML. So inside this we have a text view, a recycler view, and a button. So go to main activity Java. We will have to declare them. So right here recycler view, and after the recycler view we will have to write here fab button, floating action button, right here add button, and close this. So after this we will have to initialize our database also. Write here database helper and name it mydb and close this. Now we will have to find all this view here in on create. So write here recyclerView is equals to find view by id r.id dot recyclerView and close this, and in next line add button is equals to find view by id r.id dot add button, and after this we will have to create an instance of database. So right here mydb is equals to new database helper, and inside this we will have to pass the context. Right here main activity dot this and close this. So after this we will have to set on click listener on the button. So right here add button dot set on click listener new view on click listener. So here it will give us a override function of on click. So we will do work on this later. So firstly let's create an adapter. Go to our main package, create a new package and write here adapter. So now inside the package make a new Java class and name it to do adapter and press enter. Now extend this to recyclerView dot adapter, and this is showing error because we have to give a view holder here. You can see it is asking for view holder. So let's create the view holder. So inside this write public static class and name it as my view holder and extend to it to recyclerView dot view holder and give curly bracket to it. Use curly bracket and it will show some error because we don't have constructor for it. So create the constructor. So now it has a constructor. So we have to pass this view holder class to its parent class inside the adapter. So write here to do adapter dot my view holder. Still it is showing error because we have to implement 3 methods. So press alt and enter, implement all the 3 methods. So we have these 3 overridden functions. So firstly we will do work on the view holder. So write here checkbox and name it as checkbox and close this, and below the super write here checkbox is equals to item view dot find view by id, write here r.id dot checkbox, and firstly import this class and first one and close this. Now after this scroll up and inside on create view holder above the return statement write here view v is equals to layout inflator dot from write here parent dot get context, and after the bracket dot inflate r dot layout dot pass here layout which we created, that is task layout which we have created here, task layout comma parent and comma false. Before false write parent here, otherwise it will give error. Write parent parent comma false. So this is okay. We have set the view and now we will have to return this view. So in place of the null write here new my view holder and pass here v because we have named this view as v. So now create a list variable, write here private list of to do model type, write here to do not adapter to do model and name it mlist and close this. After the list we will have to use main activity also. So write here private main activity, and we will name it as activity and close this. After this we will also need our database. So private database helper mydb, close this. And now we need to create a constructor for this adapter. So write here public to do adapter and make this, and take two inputs, database helper as mydb comma main activity as activity. So inside the constructor write here this dot activity is equals to activity, close this, and this dot mydb is equals to mydb, and close this also. So now inside this get item count, it is returning 0. In place of 0 write here mlist dot size, and on bind view holder the above method here write here final to do model and name it as item is equals to right here mlist dot get position and close this. And in below line write holder dot checkbox dot set text, and inside this we will set the text right here item dot get task, and write again holder dot checkbox dot set checked, and inside this we need a boolean. So firstly write here item dot get status, and we will have to change this to boolean. So let's create a new function which will change this to boolean. So after this function on view bind view holder, so write here public of return type boolean and name this to boolean, and this will take an integer, let name it num, and inside this return we will have to return this num is not equals to 0, and close this. So now typecast this one above in holder, right here to boolean and give a bracket here and give a bracket in last. So this work is done. So after this in next line write here holder dot checkbox dot set on changed check listener this one, and pass a new compound button and press enter. So inside this function on check the changed give if statement, right here if, inside the if right here is checked. So before is checked use compound button dot is checked, and inside the if statement right here mydb dot update status, and inside this pass the item dot get id comma pass the status as 0, and in else part of if statement else, inside this else write mydb dot update status item dot get id comma right here 1. We have done a small mistake. In place of 1 we have to pass the 0, and in place of 0 we have to pass the 1. Here remove this and place 1 and this as 0. So this is done, otherwise it was logically incorrect. So we need one more function by which we will be able to get the context. So make here public context and name it as get context, and inside this we will have to return the activity. So this is done, and now after the get item count function we need one more function, right here public void set tasks, set task capital T, set tasks, and inside the bracket we need some parameters. So write here list of to do model type, and we will name it here mlist, and inside this function write here this dot mlist is equals to mlist, and close this and write notify dataset changed. So after this create one more function public void, this will be delete function, so delete task, and inside this pass int position, and inside the function write here to do model and name it as item mlist dot get position, and close this, and after this write here my database or my db dot delete task item dot get id, and after this write here mlist dot remove position, and after removing we will have to notify not notify this notify item removed and pass here position. Now after this create one more function, write public void and name it as edit task or edit item, you can name it anything, write here int position, and inside this function write here to do model item is equals to mlist dot get position, and after this write here bundle is equals to new bundle, and inside this bundle we have to put the things, so write here bundle dot put int, and inside the int we have to pass the key, let it be id, and inside the id write item dot get task get id, and close this, right here bundle dot put string and give it key as task comma item dot get task. So that's it. Now we will have to pass this bundle, but before passing this bundle we have to create a fragment of which layout is already present, so we have to just create a Java file. So go to your main package, click on new, make a new Java class and name this class as add new task and press enter. So here frstly extend this to a fragment, we will extend this with bottom sheet fragment, bottom sheet dialog fragment. So now initialize the variables or view of the layout, right here private static final and string, inside this write tag is equals to add new task, remember this is the name of our class also. So right here private edit text, so our text name was edit text, this we will take from user, and right here private button and name it as save button, and after this create a variable for database private database helper and name it as mydb, close this, and after this let's create a function or override it on create, not on create, make on create view function, because this is a fragment, so remove it and right here on create view and enter this one, and in place of super right here view v is equals to inflator dot inflate and inside the inflate write the view name. So write r.layout dot add new task, comma, right here container, comma, false, and close this. So after this we will have to return the view, so we'll write here return v. So this is done. So now override one more function, and it is on view created, and in place after the super right here edited text is equals to view dot find view by id r dot id dot edit text, and same for button right here save button is equals to view dot find view by id r dot id dot add button, and close this. So now create the instance of database helper. So in next line write here my db is equals to new my database helper, and write here get activity, and close this. In next line create a boolean variable with name is updated and make it initially false, and close this. And now we will work on is updated, as we have created a bundle here inside to do adapter. So now we will work on this bundle and pass the information from our fragment. So right here add a new task and name it as task is equals to new add new task, and inside this write task dot set argument, and write here bundle task dot show pass here activity dot get support fragment manager, comma, task dot get tag. So now come back to our add new task file. So after the boolean import the bundle here bundle and name it as bundle is equals to get argument, and below this write here if bundle is not equals to null, then we will perform the task is updated is equals to true, and pass here string name it as task is equals to bundle dot get string, and pass the key here, and the key was task. You can see the key here, we have set the key as task, and go back to our new task activity. So after this write edit text dot set text, inside the text we have to pass the task, and after this in next line write if statement and write inside it task dot length is greater than 0. If the length of the task is greater than 0, then we will have to enable the button say button dot set enabled as false. As this tutorial has become so long, so let's stop this, and we will soon bring part 4 for it. So stay tuned, and if you haven't watched the previous parts, you can watch them from description, and also I have created the playlist for it. So thank you for watching the video.